Hey guys, it's me. I'm back again, and I'm going to start a brand new series. So as you can tell from my previous series, I've really enjoyed doing these guitar amplifier conversions. Really a lot of fun, and it's something useful for me because, as you know, I'm a musician, and I obviously know how to play, and I use this equipment. So I think my hobby is settling somewhere between antique radios and amplifiers, tube amplifiers, which is good. I still have my Heathkit TA17 to get back to one day, which I haven't forgot about, but I'll get back to it. But for the next series that I'm going to do, I've got something really interesting that I'm going to show you. The key with this stuff is you can get the chassis cheap, but it's the transformers. That's where the gold is. And I found a couple of things on eBay at really good prices that have excellent transformers. One is the item I'm going to show you next, and then after that I've got an older one which I'll show you. After I get started with this series, I'll surprise you with that one. But we're going to get started with this series now. I'm just going to walk you through what my latest find is, and we'll see how much I videotape this particular restore. I think you'll like what you see on this one. I think my main thing now is to figure out which amp I'm going to duplicate. I like Fender amps, but maybe I'll do something else like a Sun amp or a Mesa Boogie. I don't know. I have to look at the schematics that are available and see what's a tube amp, because it has to be a tube amp. And whatever I think I'm going to build, I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow the schematic just like I did the last one, now that I know all the pitfalls and the tricks. And that's it. All right, this is Ron. Take a look at what I've got here on the bench.
Hey everybody, we've got a brand new series. Surprise, surprise. Look what we have here. This is an Executone P13 intercom system. These things were prevalent in the 50s, I'd imagine, and pretty much of a boat anchor, but this thing is really going to be a cool project for me. I haven't ripped off the bottom yet, but I have taken the top off. Let me see if I can show you that with one hand here. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this down for a second. We'll take the cover off. How's that? Okay. Look at the metal on this thing. Look at these transformers. There's two of them. One is an input transformer or a power transformer. I assume one is an output transformer. I don't really know yet, but that doesn't really matter. And they've got a 5U4 rectifier tube and two 6L6 output tubes. And I assume the preamp tubes are these 6SN7s. And then there's a 6SJ7. There's a filter cap. And the front here, lots and lots of frozen knobs. And there's dial light. And we'll have to see what that looks like inside. And then around the back, let's see if we can flip this thing up. This thing's really heavy. On the back, we have a fuse holder, which is good. And we have a relay terminal strip there, and an output, and an auxiliary input. And it looks like we have an old microphone jack there. So next step is going to be to take the bottom off this thing and see what we look like in here. But I know exactly what I'm going to do with this amp. First of all, this is going to be mine to keep when I'm done with it. And I'm going to turn this into a Fender Twin Reverb, or not a Fender Twin Reverb, just a Fender Twin, or some other Fender amp that I can utilize that has dual 6V6 tubes. I've definitely got the real estate in this thing. I'm sure this thing is pretty empty underneath, and I'm going to have to paint it, and I'm going to put some handles on the sides of these things here, and this is going to be my my homemade bass amp that I'm going to use. So anyway, let me take the bottom off and we'll see what's underneath there, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do for the rest of the project. Be back. Wow, take a look at this. So as expected, this thing is pretty empty underneath here. And this is going to be ripe for me doing a rip out. Now the good news is they've already got loads and loads of terminal strips in this thing, which I may or may not use. I may use the actual wafer board that Fender uses in their amps and just mount it underneath here. I've got to see if it fits between these tube sockets. But I have to decide what model amp I'm going to make first. But you could see there's some pretty cool stuff coming out of here. Here's my transformer leads. I think I'm going to have to rewire the transformer on this one. And Same thing here. We've got some cloth wires coming out, going to a nice bundle of wires here. And I'll have to figure out what these leads are and test it and make sure I have a 6.3 filament and a 5.0 volt filament for the rectifier tube. I've got my work cut out for me. All of these connectors in the back look like they're pop riveted, so I'd have to drill those out. I got my fuse holder, of course, and I'd have to put some input jacks and stuff. But look at this thing. Anyway, I'm gonna kind of map out my plan, figure out what amp I'm going to do, and then I'll come back to you and let you know what we're doing with this one. But this is going to be an exciting one. Pretty happy about it. All right, folks. I'll be back with an update as soon as I have one. Thanks. This is Ron. One more thing to show you on here. This appears to be a really old relay of some sort. So I think what happens with this thing is it had two functions. One is it could play music, and I think the other one was an intercom. And I think there was a relay in there that when a voice came over, it would cut off the music and and switch to the other channel. I think that's why there's so many transform. I don't know. I think it's a dual channel, but I'm not really positive. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to rip it all out. But take a look at these bumblebees. I mean, these are really, really old stuff, I think. I got to check these and see how bad they are when I get to it. But there's some vintage stuff. I don't think anyone's been in here for a while. 25 microfarad, some old Cornell Dubliner stuff. I don't know what these things are. Some kind of resistor. Looks like Sprague's. Cool ohm. Not sure what that is. And I roll connected with a strap to the chassis, I guess for heat dissipation. Probably some 5-watt jobs. That's probably what that is, or 2-watt. And another cap. And then there is a filter can cap in here somewhere, right here. So that's the story. I'll be back and let you know what I'm doing with this thing in probably a couple of days. I'm not going to rush on this one. I want to make sure I'm going to build the right model amp that I want. And we'll take it from there. All right. Thanks, everybody. Again, this is an Executone P13. Over and out. This is Ron.